Hi coaches, on November 9th I attended the CREST conference virtually for updates. We received updates from the state, from TEA, and on assessment. So I wanted to share those with you today through this slide, and I decided to record it just to give you a little bit more information. First I want to start with an update. We've had some questions from different campuses about STAAR 2020-21 for grade 4. So it was confirmed by Tyson Kane, who was the Associate Commissioner there at TEA, that the grade 4 writing assessment will remain the same as in the past, like, the past years, as we had it, as in regards to the composition and the revising and editing portion. The fact that we have a lot of children learning online in that virtual environment doesn't change the assessment. At-home learners must attend a proctored site, and I'm sure our district will tell us more, but according to TEA, the students would have to attend either a campus or a district proctored site, so there would not be any online testing unless children had it in their IEP as an accommodation or that matter. There will be field tested items present for the revision and editing, and more will follow in the slide deck on that. And again, this was confirmed by Tyson Kane, so go ahead and feel free to share this information. The STAAR writing will remain the same in the way it is assessed and in the method of doing it paper pencil, unless otherwise noted in a child's IEP. Also, I wanted to share some updates with you on the Reading Language Arts redesign. So I'm not going to read all of this, you can go back, but just the high points. The RLA will take place in 2022-2023, and it will include multiple choice items. It will include constructed response items and longer response items, and these are also in the works right now. They're trying to define it and work on it, so the grade levels will be determined and more information will come on that. There is an interim step right now where they're field testing. They were going to do it last year, but since STAAR was canceled, they were not able to do that. But this year they will field test single step multiple choice items that will assess revision and editing, and those will be assessed at every grade level starting in grades 3. So this year the students would see that in the spring if the state continues with the assessment in the spring. And these would be in a multiple choice format, and there are samples at the TEA website. My advice is not to prepare students for these. You can mention to them that they will be there, but remember these are field tested items and they're still under design. That's the whole point of the field test, so we wouldn't want to prep students on how to take those. They just need to do it organically. As they know, that will be giving the best data to TEA on those items. I think in the middle of this year, just getting kids to do well on the items that they are accountable for is more important. They will not be accountable for these field tested items. Here's a little bit more information on the field tested items. I'll share this slide with you so you can go to those TEA sample items. But again, they will have no accountability measure. They'll just be embedded, and probably every child will see some. So with the RLA redesign, there will be short constructed response items. This gives you a little bit information. Again, this is still all under design. Nothing's like exact. They're just sharing information, and I'm just sharing the information they shared with me. So what we did know is that they held focus groups and advisory committees. They listened, they brought in feedback, and they landed on a 2-point task using an item-specific rubric. This, they said, is good because it can assess multiple student expectations in the standards as opposed to only one, which is currently the way it's done, and gives you some advantages on the chart that you can go back and look at. So here's a sample. Remember that these are just under design, so here's an example of a short answer that would be a constructed response in 3rd grade. Later on, you'll see a slide that talks about the need for the test to be 75% or less of multiple choice. So this is why the constructed response is coming in. You'll learn more about that. And this would be the item-specific rubric. You can go back and look more detailed if you really want to, but this is just a big picture heads up. This is the rubric, so there would be a constructed response task, and then there would be a rubric that the TEA would use to grade that. Something that they mentioned and talked about for quite a bit was the linking of those informational sections to cross-curricular topics. So the RLA passages will have content integration, and so they will link to science, social studies, fine arts, technology, mathematics to a lesser degree, just because it's hard to do that, they say, and I agree. And this approach, they said, will encourage that cross-curricular teaching and learning, and they also felt that it would build context and strengthen academic vocabulary. They kept saying that they felt like this piece would allow all students to do a little better on STAAR because they would be accessing content that they learned in that year, and so that would help build their background and their understanding of the items and the passages. So that kind of goes to speak to this. So why does cross-curricular passage content matter? It gives students a high reading ability and a high knowledge. We can go back and you can break this down a little bit, but subject matter knowledge is covered in the TEKS and all the subjects. So TEA feels that ensuring STAAR passages have content aligned to the TEKS ensures a more level playing field when assessing comprehension. That's according to TEA. And also, here's some information about the different passages that you could read and think about. Informational text presents information to explain, clarify, and educate. They would clearly link to subjects such as science and social studies. And then literary text is generally recognized for its artistic value and the purpose of entertaining. And these might reflect topics covered in other subject areas. I'm thinking like fine arts and things like that. And then there's a note that says, by spring 2024 administration, 100% of the informational text that will be in STAAR reading would be based on cross-curricular content covered in other subjects in the TEKS. So that's pretty much coming, so they're working on that. Here's an example from a grade 4 science. You can see the passage, and then it gives you links to K4 science topics that would connect students to understanding this a little better, back to the level playing field idea, and then the vocabulary that students might see based on the TEKS that were taught in that grade and the previous. House Bill 3906 is the bill that caps the STAAR test at 75% of questions as multiple choice. I think the really important thing on this slide is to know that it's all pretty much pending. It's all under study, and it's nothing set in stone. The House bill did set in stone the 75% question rule. You'll notice that this is supposed to be enacted by 2022 and 23, and this is really connected to pending action by this year's legislature. So they're about to open, and so a lot of these details need to still be ironed out. So there's also, if you wanted to go, you could look at House Bill 3906 through the link provided. And if you're not on the listserv for TEA, you might think about that. Here's some things that they recommended that you might want to join as far as your listserv. And then always, if you have any questions, there's their contact information. So I hope this has been helpful. I know this has been kind of a long video, but hopefully it's kind of taken the place of me having to address the whole group. We can use whole group time for other things. And if you have any questions, I'll try my best. I'm just kind of relaying the message to you. And I hope that this has been helpful for you, and I look forward to learning more and sharing more with you as I learn about it this year. Thank you so much.